Hello and welcome to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy. Using a proven tax deferral such as the Deferred Sales Trust to defer highly appreciated capital gains tax on the sale of cryptocurrency or businesses or real estate, save a failed 1031 exchange is the best way for you to grow your wealth. Hey, I'm your host, and we also do another podcast called Expert CRE Secrets. I'm your host, Brett Swarts, and we also do another episode called Expert CRE Secrets, which we're also streaming on, where we bring on weekly guests. We also have some ongoing kind of educational platforms on things that we're very excited about, such as eXp Commercial. So actually, I have a co-host with me. His name is Kevin Breckenridge, and we're going to be jamming on all things eXp Commercial, trying to make it simple for everybody. So, Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brett. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year to you as well. You know, we are up against a couple things for the new year. One of the most exciting ones is the NFL playoffs, and let's start right there, right? I mean, yesterday, by the way, was basically the playoffs, and for our football fans out there, I played in high school. You know, I grew up 49er fan, and I got to tell you, I'm smiling today because my team was down 17-0 and fought back to win it in overtime. I mean, I'm still like just smiling, right? Because it's been one of those years where we had a lot of injuries last year, so we're getting back. We had a slow start, but we eked away into the playoffs. And so how does your team fare this year, and what did you think of yesterday's games?
I got to tell you, Brett, I don't watch a lot of football, man. I'm not the biggest NFL fan, but you know, I was paying attention a little bit, not to who was winning, but actually who was losing. I saw there were a lot of coaches who were fired or let go over the weekend because their teams failed to make the playoffs for consecutive years. So I know it's a tough time for some NFL coaches right now. But also, you know, I grew up in Cincinnati, so by default, I guess I can be a Bengals fan. From here and there, they did have a good win over Kansas City a couple of weeks ago, so I'll take that.
And they're in the playoffs, right? With Joe Burrow, who's like the man. He's like a young Joe Montana. He's really fun to watch. And so that's a good point you bring up, though, right? Things change, and I'm wondering, Kevin, who's looking out for those NFL coaches? Where do you think that goes? And maybe you can connect that with eXp Commercial and some of the things you're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what I just thought of? I thought of this situation with Antonio Brown and I can't think of his name. Who's the quarterback for Tampa?
Tom Brady. Yeah,
Tom Brady. So not so much the situation that happened in the game, but the power of the network, right? Like Tom Brady moved down to Tampa. He brought Antonio with him. And just that relationship, that network, having someone looking out on your behalf. Now, whether you fulfill, you come through or not, that's a totally different conversation. But the fact that you have a network of people who are looking out on your behalf and who are able to bring you into different opportunities. Well, for the coaches who just lost their jobs, hopefully they have a network that is strong enough to look out for them and to provide them at least with leads on new opportunities. Well, eXp Commercial is the same way. We were discussing a little bit earlier, Brett, how strong that network is and how powerful that network is when it comes to generating leads, when it comes to generating business opportunities through referrals. The referral system is so strong that you have people looking out on your behalf, looking to send you opportunities even when you aren't thinking about it. So eXp Commercial is that strong network, is that strong friend, is that strong relationship that's looking out on your behalf, even when you aren't able to look out for yourself.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And part of that is because it connects multiple worlds, right? There's eXp Residential, which was the beginning, right? And then basically 11 years into this startup, amazing, fastest growing company in the history of real estate, right? It went and it's up to about 75,000 agents right now. And that includes now commercial real estate agents, as well as business brokers and M&A advisors. And you connect this network that used to be pretty much siloed, right? Separated. And folks need a place to send need specialists to send their referrals to. And so part of the coolest thing about being a commercial agent, you and I, right, we have opportunities for folks who are in the residential to either partner with and or just get referrals.
Mhm.
And so through something called eXp Facebook Workplace Group, which is like a Facebook group on steroids, but highly what's the word, engaging, and people adding value and people connecting there. So talk about a little bit about your experience with the eXp Commercial Workplace Facebook page.
Yeah, I love eXp Workplace. It really is just like using Facebook, except it's for work. So everyone, the entire network, everyone inside of Workplace, they work for eXp Commercial or they work for eXp Realty. And because they're basically two companies under one umbrella, everyone is working together, collaborating, they're sharing knowledge, they're sharing information, they're connecting, they're following, they're adding value. And part of that value component is, hey, we know we have a residential component, we know we have a commercial component. And so our residential agents, when they come across commercial opportunities, they know that, hey, I can find someone to fulfill this client's needs if I can't, and they're just post away. They're just a message away. And so every single day, multiple times a day, there's back and forth communication where people are posting opportunities and saying, hey, I've got this opportunity. Actually, Brett, I just saw a post a couple hours ago. Someone's working with a national client. They're looking to do an exchange in the amount of about $42 million. And they posted within eXp World and they said, hey, we're working on behalf of this national client. They're looking for this type of deal. It's at $42 million. What do you have? Right. On the flip side, there are people who are saying, hey, I have this client who wants to buy this or they want to lease this. It's out of my scope. Who do we have who can help? And if you aren't on Workplace at that moment, there are people who know what you do because you build a network within the network. You build friends, you build people who know, who are familiar with you. And people will say, hey, why don't you reach out to this person or you reach out to that person? So literally multiple times a week, I'm seeing my name pop up in different posts where people are recommending me as someone that you can refer business to. So it's a very powerful network and a very powerful tool. I
Yeah, and
love it. Yeah.
let's shift to this part where what makes eXp Commercial different, which we like to see the analogy of Blockbuster versus Netflix, or in other words, your old brokerage versus eXp Commercial. And part of this is having specialists, because eXp Commercial is a separate brokerage than eXp Residential. It's not a Resi Commercial all
Yep.
mixed into one, which is in the past. I know for me, I always, as a commercial practitioner, stayed away from a lot of residential folks that are trying to jump in and trying to do deals with commercial, because it's just separate. It's separate. It's separate specialty, right? And so starting at Marcus and Millichap, we really specialize in the product type, in our geographical location, and making sure we understand that. What's really cool about what eXp has figured out is they kept it separate with eXp Commercial and eXp Residential, but they can still connect one another through the network, right? And the use of technology. So what's cool about eXp in general is it's a technology company. It's a real estate brokerage company, right? It's a leadership company, right? They bought Success Magazine. They develop agents and help us become better leaders. And then they're open-minded enough for things like the Deferred Sales Trust, or bringing in folks to talk about alternatives to buying real estate with cryptocurrency. We were at the eXpCon event, and they had a breakout of about 2,500 agents talking about how to purchase real estate using cryptocurrency, which is cutting edge stuff, right? And so all of these things create this fastest growing company in the history of brokerage, right? Over 75,000 agents now worldwide. And the stock price that went from like pennies to over $150 a share over a period of years, which is incredible. So talk to us a little bit about how eXp Commercial, being that you're an owner and revenue share, how that helps to bring all of this synergy and connection.
Yeah, I think one thing I was thinking about was just even with the metaverse, we don't even have to go as far back as Blockbuster versus Netflix. We could talk about the metaverse and that interconnectivity. The metaverse really didn't become popular in terms of everyone talking about it until just the last couple of months. I think November, December, you started to see a lot of articles. There was a big article in the New York Times. There was a big announcement from Facebook about the metaverse, and it got everyone excited, right? So I know a lot of people who are talking about it now, but for people who work with eXp on a realty or commercial side, we've been working in the metaverse for quite some time. So even in the span of, say, a 12-month time, right? I joined eXp Commercial. I started that process last January. So from January to December, I'm already 12 months ahead in terms of learning how to use the metaverse, learning how to communicate with people around the world through the metaverse and making those connections. Another powerful thing, too, as you mentioned, we're at about 75,000 agents worldwide, but I've seen estimates that could easily jump to 400,000 in a very short period of time, considering the global footprint. So if you think about the company and the ability to buy into the company, you're able to get discounted stock as being an affiliated agent. And you've already talked about the growth of the stock from it being a penny stock to it being worth, $150. Well, as the company continues to grow and you go from 75,000 to 150,000, then I think you get around that 200,000, you start getting comparable to some of the other, I think KW is around 180, somewhere around there. And then you double that and you've got 400,000 or 500,000 agents around the world, all feeding into one company. That stock is going to continue to grow in value, which means that the company is going to continue to reinvest. And one of the big things about eXp Commercial is that I believe it's 50% of the profits are allocated towards basically redistribution back to all of the agents and brokers who are affiliated with the company. And you have one company as opposed to the silo effect where you have a franchise office here and a franchise office there and a franchise office here. The communication and everything basically filters into one vehicle. So a lot of growth opportunity there.
Yeah, it's never been done in the history of commercial real estate. It's already been proven with, no one thought it could work with eXp or with residential real estate. It's been proven. And part of that is what's called the cap, right? Where they cap you at $20,000 for eXp Commercial, 80-20 split to start. Then it's just literally $20,000. So if you do a $100,000 deal in commission, you're going to pay $20,000. And for that calendar year or for that year at which you started, you're going to have unlimited upside. I mean, that's 100% commission to you. That's like never been done in the history of commercial. To have all the tools like Reonomy and Rich Data, build out, and ways to agent hub for CRM systems and automatic text messages and emails and all of these tools to help you with marketing packages and connect it with Bervitas and Crexy. And we're still working a deal with CoStar. That's kind of the big thing. We're hoping for that to eventually drop here. But all of these things are creating an opportunity to not have to be a part of a big, old type of brokerage model that has very high commission splits, right, in favor of the house always wins. And instead, like you said, 50% of a lot of this is already cut out because they're just taking out the expense by the brick and mortar. It's cloud-based. The other 50% is going back into developing the company. But also, or let me break that up. We're already saving a lot, but then of whatever the savings is, about 50% of the rev share revenue that comes in goes right to the agents cash flowing for those agents' businesses that are bringing in other agents and closing deals. The other 50% goes back into the company to grow the company. So that's the beauty of it. There's more to go around, and it's earning this revenue and it's sharing it versus profit sharing, right? And it's also getting stock at a discount. And that's what creates this opportunity to be a part of eXp Commercial. And I want to share my screen here, and we're going to kind of break down a little bit of this in its entirety and dig into some of the more frequently asked questions. And so here we go. Let's see if we can share it okay here. And let me try to maximize that. And let me try to zoom in a bit here. And let's see here. All right. So as we going through this, understand that eXp Commercial is built for commercial real estate practitioners, business brokers, as well as mergers and acquisition professionals. And it's based upon core values that eXp has proven over 11 years. As well, it's really more about creating the future, the metaverse, the Netflix way of doing things, the way of Amazon, versus old ways of Blockbuster, Circuit City, or traditional real estate brokerages. And it's one brokerage, like like Kevin said, it's not a franchise. So there's no upfront cost. There's not a bunch of money to put into something. It's literally a monthly fee of $250. And that gives you access to the tools and the resources. And it's not locally confined. There's no costly overhead. And you're also not confined to building out your team and getting revenue share over time. Like we always said, Kevin, right? We want to be on the other side of the phone by being on, let's say, the right side of the quadrant, rich dad, poor dad, right? And being in a business owner and an investor versus the left side of the quadrant, which is a W-2 employee or a 1099 employee. And so walk us through how rev share and how stock ownership works when it comes to eXp Commercial.
Yeah, Brett, I might defer to you. I think you're more of an expert on that one, man. You've been with the company a little bit longer, so we're still out hustling. But with the rev share, one of the awesome things about it is that if you hit a certain level, they're actually basically gifting you stock. So not only do you get a discounted stock rate, which one thing you can do too, every time you close a transaction, you can set up basically an automated allocation where I believe it's 5%, a small percentage of each transaction will go into buying stock. And then you can buy the stock at a discounted rate. And then on top of that, if you hit certain performance benchmarks within your annual, your annual 12-month calendar, you're able to then get gifted stock. So as you look at the slide where it says the Icon Agent Award, if you hit, I think it's 500,000 a year within that 12-month period, they're going to gift you up to 20,000 in stock upon the achievement of that actual production. And as we talked about earlier, if you're able to get stock and then you're able to get stock at a discounted rate and you're able to get stock that's gifted to you, and we already know that the company is going to continue to grow, then essentially not only have you built out a retirement opportunity and vehicle for you, you've built out one that's going to continue to grow. And Brett, you definitely know that firsthand. If no one knows your story, you said, "Hey, man, I calculated, what I was losing by staying with my traditional brokerage as opposed to had I switched over to eXp Commercial even just a few years prior." So there's definitely some wealth and some retirement there. And then there's also some additional opportunities with, actually the recruitment and bringing people into the company and things like that.
Absolutely. And then for me, it was like $700,000 of literally of stock, which is probably where that was as of like 6 months ago when I did that analysis. Yeah. And that's not even building a team. That's just selling the real estate that I was selling. Right. Mm-hmm. So like, you have to ask yourself, for whatever you're selling today, right, what does that equate to stock and what would that stock be worth? Well, most people, they don't get any stock, right? They just sell real estate and they do the splits and they don't get that. Well, I ran the scenario of, okay, had I purchased the stock, and yeah, the stock was obviously much more discounted when I first got approached by eXp, which was 5 years ago. But still, like the fact that I don't even got any stock at all, $50,000 or $100,000, the fact that I'm doing $700,000, and that's not even recruiting anybody, building a team. That's just selling the deals I would have sold and equating it to keep it really simple. But in addition to that, like you said, you get gifted stock or you earn stock upon your team members that you bring in. You help them sell real estate, then you get gifted stock. Okay, and then you sell for every first deal you do, you get some stock. And so there's again, Rich Dad Poor Dad also talks about getting multiple income streams, multiple assets to own, right? And so how is your traditional brokerage doing that for you? Are they giving you opportunities for stock, opportunities to grow a team and get stock, opportunities to buy stock at a discount? Yes, you can purchase stock with 5% of your commission, which can be big in commercial, right? Up to 5% of your commission can get stock purchased at a 10% discount, which is remarkable. It's an optional thing. You don't have to do that, but you have an option yet, as well as the revenue share. And revenue share, I think, is really the most transformational thing that I think you got to understand if you're a commercial real estate practitioner. Again, we were taught to get on the other side of the phones, or at least the smart people were, right? We weren't taught just to sell commission-based deals for the rest of our lives, but to become owners for all of the reasons of owning commercial real estate: appreciation, cash flow, opportunities to not have to trade our time for dollars anymore. But part of what eXp has figured out is basically helping you to cash flow your real estate brokerage outside of having to own toilets, trash, liability, tenants, and become a distraction or taking away from your brokerage business by giving what's called revenue share. And essentially what this means is for all of your agents or team that you build out, you'll get a small percentage of revenue on the deals that they close, okay? As well as the people that they help train and coach, you'll get a small percent of their revenues, which is not unlike what they have at the traditional brokerage. They have like the immediate like sales manager, then they have the office manager, then they have the regional manager, and then they have, maybe the West Coast or the East Coast or the Northeast or the Southwest, bigger regional director above that. And then they have, it goes up. Well, what eXp Commercial did is say, we're getting rid of all of that, kind of that middle management for the most part. And we're going to take professional practitioners who are building the troops on the ground, who are selling the real estate, and we're going to share in that revenue. And that's the beauty of how you can get cash flow and you can get on the right side of the quadrant. And once that clicks, you're going, okay, so how many practitioners do I potentially need? Well, it's somewhere between 30 and 50 of producing solid commercial practitioners or residential agents, because you can also recruit them too, or M&A advisors. By the way, I just recruited the top 10 M&A advisor in the nation. Her name is Michelle Seiler-Tucker, and she's amazing. We're doing a $55 million deal right now in Florida, and we have a lot of other ones coming through. We're going to actually bring her on the podcast again to share her story. But the point of all of that is a high producing, and she caps literally in one deal, Kevin. Like she's like, one deal, she's capped, she's done, right? She's got a $3 million commission. I'm like, wow, I've been playing in the hundreds of thousands of dollars commission. You're in the millions of dollars commissions, but she caps on one deal. And then we're looking at building that business model. And also it's cool. She's in Louisiana, right? I'm in California, and all of a sudden we're connected.
Yeah.
And eXp is the vehicle that's bringing us together. So I'm going to pause there, Kevin. Anything that comes out or sticks out there?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I have not tapped into the revenue share as much in terms of recruiting. I kind of have more of a passive recruiting right now, where I kind of advertise the eXp model, through my communications, but I'm not aggressively going after people. And that's something that I'm planning to get to, at some point. It's not, it's important, but it's not what I'm focused on right now. But I will tell you that it's exciting and it's inspiring when inside eXp Commercial, every so often somebody will post and say, hey, I just hit 20 people. Hey, I just hit 25 people. Hey, I just hit 50 people on my front line. So you are seeing people building out this equity share, this revenue share model, and it's inspiring to you to where, you're thinking, hey, I'm trying to wrap my mind around all this other stuff going on, but at some point I've got to wrap my mind around this too, because there is a significant opportunity for me to build out another revenue stream. And so there are people doing it. In some cases, there are people that's kind of the only thing that they focus on. For other people, they use it as an opportunity to leverage because they're already the type of person who is bringing in people. They're building people up. That's kind of what they were doing in their traditional brokerage anyway, and now they're being compensated for that. So definitely another big opportunity with eXp.
Absolutely. And always lead with value, right? And so that's part of also too why we want to help you save a failed 1031 exchange using the Deferred Sales Trust. You can learn more about that at capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. We got a free mastermind on that every Friday, by the way, as well as helping people exit cryptocurrency, defer millions of dollars of capital gains tax, and invest into real estate, all tax deferred. The one concept will blow your mind. Most brokerages don't know about that, or they don't want you to know about it because they want to keep your clients in the 1031 trading. But guess what? There's primary homes, business sellers, cryptocurrency sellers that want to buy real estate but are not exiting until they have a solution such as the Deferred Sales Trust to be able to exit tax deferred and kind of like 1031 out into real estate, right? Which in fact, I'm working with the deal right now, Kevin. He's got over 150, it's actually 200 million now, $200 million in NFTs. It was 150 million in Vegas a month and a half ago when we went to eXpCon, and now it's up to 200 million. And he's looking to exit that via the Deferred Sales Trust, at least some of it, and buy self-storage facilities, buy multifamily, buy some mobile home parks, buy that really nice beach house. We were sitting in Vegas and he's on his phone. He's like, oh, how about this one's 15 million bucks? I'm like, yeah, let's go do it. What are you waiting for, man? Like you got 150. He's 33
It's
years
15.
old. Right. I'm like, oh my, it's 15, man. It's nothing. So anyways, we haven't closed that one yet, but we have closed 3 other cryptocurrency deals, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and another Bitcoin deal. We have about 12.5 million of AUM right now. And so I share all of this is because your old brokerage is probably not talking about this. And we want to be able to connect you with people like myself, people like Kevin. Kevin's in DC. I'm in California, and share all of these things to help all of this grow. And we say it's one team, one dream, one brokerage, one dream, no desk fees, work from anywhere, cut overhead, brick and mortar costs, paperless transactions, instant access to training and support, over 50 hours of live support of folks like myself and Kevin and others sharing their secrets to help others grow their business. Okay. And it's actually really remarkable. In fact, Kevin just got done with one of these things called Marketing Secrets, which was by a gentleman named Bernard, who's amazing. He, in fact, worked for Microsoft and was a part of their marketing team for many years. And he's full-time eXp commercial. And I think he just dropped about 10 or 9 live trainings, masterclass on marketing and lead generation. You know, a lot of commercial real estate agents, we know how to market real estate, but we're not necessarily building a brand. Right. And the new world is building a brand. And so talk a little bit about that, Kevin. What's your takeaways been so far with, and by the way, this is a picture of eXp World if you're watching this on video on YouTube right now.
Yep. Yeah, it was a great class. One of the things I like about eXp, and I was just thinking about this as you were talking, Brett, is we have all of these different areas where, say, it's the NFTs or it's the Bitcoin, or it's the cannabis industry or it's self-storage, of course, multifamily, some of the more traditional assets, but you have people operating in all of these different segments of business that come together, and they're sharing the knowledge, they're sharing the information. So it's empowering all of the agents, empowering all of the brokers to have at least some level of knowledge and awareness about this particular area so that they're better equipped to service their clients, to help advise their clients, and to bring in the people that they need to bring in to help their clients get deals done. So that exposure to knowledge and information is invaluable. And Bernard, he put on a great class, definitely given a lot of keys of how, one, they're utilizing a lot of information that they use and they're using to build out eXp's brand, eXp Commercial's brand, and how you can apply a lot of those principles to your own personal brand. And if you think about it, you know, eXp is a multi-billion-dollar company. So you have access to someone who is responsible for running the entire marketing of a multi-billion-dollar company, and he's providing training and education free of charge, right, on a weekly basis inside this virtual world. And so that's why, right, it's a master class because it's being taught by someone who's not only experienced with eXp, but as you mentioned, he also worked with Microsoft, very well educated, very well experienced, very high level thinker and practitioner. So definitely it was a great course.
Fantastic. And so we want to invite everybody to connect with Kevin and me. With Kevin, you go to kevinsbreckenridge.com. That's kevinsbreckenridge.com. And if you want to connect with me, you can go to expertcresecrets.com. That's expertcresecrets.com. We also have the podcast Expert CRE Secrets as well. You can subscribe to. We have some amazing guests talking commercial real estate, talking leadership, talking tax deferral, all things to kind of give you more tools to level up your commercial real estate brokerage, M&A, business brokerage game. Okay. Also, some pretty cool healthcare. There's some discounted healthcare, which is really neat. Don't take that for granted. You have to ask yourself, what's the cost of that right now? They also have really neat tools, a thing called SkySlope, which is like transaction management, coordination on steroids, organizes everything there. It's in the back end. And of course, the marketing deal management and CRM systems, we have that as well. And the workplace on Facebook, which we touched on. So much more. That being said, anything else, Kevin, before we let everyone else go here? I think some upcoming events. They have some national commercial real estate meetings. Oh, by the way, I'll be speaking at the Best Ever Conference for those who are wondering. This is one of the best conferences for commercial real estate syndicators. I have the opportunity to speak with people like Joe Fairless and Dan Hanford, a number of others on the Deferred Sales Trust, as well as multifamily investing. That's happening, by the way, February 24th to the 26th in Aurora, Colorado, outside of Denver. If you are wanting to go, we have a discount, Brett15. If you go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com, there's a banner there, and you guys can sign up. You can meet me in person, but I'll be there. And there's some other stuff coming up too. You want to highlight some of the stuff that's coming on, Kevin, with eXp Commercial?
Brett, I actually haven't seen the calendar since the beginning of the new year, so I'm not sure what all of the events are coming up. I do know, of course, every Wednesday or every Thursday, and that date, I think the day of the week may change, but every week, once a week, eXp Commercial hosts eXp Explained, which is a similar conversation to what we're doing now, except we have the leadership of eXp Commercial talking about all of the updates going on with eXp Commercial, as well as bringing in different guests who affiliated, they transferred, they switched over to eXp Commercial, talking about why they did it, talking about their experience, talking about their business, different things like that. And then, of course, there are a lot of different trainings that happen on a frequent and routine basis. If you are interested in actually attending some of those trainings inside the eXp world, Brett or myself were able to grant you basically an access pass, a temporary access pass, so you can experience that firsthand. Just reach out to one of us. And then I would just finish with, one of the things that is big for me is at this point, affiliating with the best. If you want to be the best, you have to affiliate with the best. And as part of that, one of the coaching programs I'm a part of, it's one of the best in the industry, but some argue the number one motivator in the business. And we were on a call the other day and they were talking about, hey, what is different right now? What is different today than how are you different today than you were at this time last year? And literally at this time last year, I was not affiliated with eXp. And now this year I am. And I can tell you just over the course of 2021, I have become a different person, a more confident person, a more capable person, a more connected person, definitely more opportunities. And I could go on, all because I made a change, I made a shift. I affiliated with the best, and the environment, the energy, the network, the communication, all of that has shifted my business. So for me, that's one example of how things are different for me in 2022. So I'll just finish with this, asking you, what is different for 2022 for you? What's different about your brokerage? What's different about your sales business? What's different about your performance? What's different about the people that you are surrounding yourself with? If you do not make a change, if you do not make a shift, you cannot expect things to be that dramatically different for you this year than they were last year. So I highly encourage you just to take a look at the model. Again, get a guest pass from me and Brett, and at least take a step towards making a different change for 2022 so that you can have a different outcome.
Kevin, I couldn't agree with you more, and we want to encourage everyone to connect with Kevin Breckenridge by going to kevinsbreckenridge.com. And if you want to connect with me, you can find me at expertcresecrets.com and also capitalgainstaxsolutions.com, where we would love to add some value for you and connect with you and see if the eXp Commercial, we believe, could be the perfect fit for you. But you got to be open-minded, and you got to underwrite the model just like you underwrite properties. And underwrite the model, look at it, see if you can align and connect and grow your business on a whole new level. Hey, thanks again. We're going to be back again in about 30 days. We're going to be jamming on this one more. In fact, the next 6 weeks. So this is kind of part of a series. So look for more from me and Kevin. And we wish you a happy new year and a great rest of your week. We'll talk